Hi everyone, welcome to my latest video. It's good to see all of you, metaphorically speaking, since I can see none of you. But thanks for being here. This one is, it's been a long week, a good week. It's been a really good week, but it's been a long week. And so because of that, I'll be starting off today's message with a confession, which is healthy and good for the soul. This week, there's a rule, I try not to do this, but this week I have engaged in not one, but two political fights with people. This is not going to be about politics. Like, don't turn the video off. Like, just listen. I've engaged in two different fights with people, one of which was with somebody I love dearly, and absolutely ought to love more than I care about anything, much less politics. And the other one was on Facebook, which, besides being inappropriate, was stupid because, political discussions on Facebook are dumpster fires, and I know this. So, I did this. I ought not to have done this. It was a wrongity bad thing. And it leads us to our point of discussion today, because I got into two political arguments this week, but I am willing to bet that some of you have gotten into dozens over the last couple of years. Like, there is some political turmoil in our country, as I've mentioned previously. There is some turmoil. There's lots of things. Everybody's got lots to fight about right now, and there's, I feel this way or I feel that way. Everybody's very impassioned, and it's led to lots of fighting. I mean, it's led to some healthy discussion, but it's also led to lots of fighting and lots of anger, lots of venom, lots of fury. And having, just recently had this experience myself, leads me to something I do think is good and important to talk about, and that's going to be today's topic: mercy. Today we're going to talk about mercy. And do not turn this off, okay? Listen to this. And I realize that there are some of you who are going to think, I already know all about mercy. Fine, this can be a refresher for you. And there are going to be others of you who are going to be sitting there saying, if you're about to tell me to be nice to somebody that I think is a total monster, then I don't want to hear what you have to say. First of all, what the fuck? Like, what? Why would that be anyone's reaction to anything? And second of all, sit down, calm down, and listen, okay? This is important. And it's important because it transcends these feelings, okay? We're going to start, what is mercy? What is mercy? Oddly enough, one of the best explanations I ever saw for this, because I didn't feel like just going to Webster's, was in a VeggieTales movie. Totally serious. In the VeggieTales movie, Jonah, they're explaining mercy, and they talk about, to have mercy is to treat someone with compassion, to treat someone kindly, to, soften your heart, to be kind, even if they don't deserve it. I've just lost half of my audience right now with that, and I hope not. Like, look, come back, listen to me. I know this, we've talked about this before. There's no way to do this. There's no way to have spiritual growth. There's no way to move forward if you're worried about your toes being stepped on. Just listen to what I say. I'll leave the comments on this one, and if you'd like to call me everything but a human being when we're done, that's fine, you can do that. But just hear me, okay? Mercy is important. And it's important for a lot of different reasons. To be merciful is to show compassion to others, to treat others with kindness, whether they deserve it or not. And that's really hard, because our knee-jerk reaction is, I mean, you learn this stuff in kindergarten. You learn in preschool. I should be nice to people, right? Treat others how you want to be treated. Be nice, forgive. I've already done one on forgiveness. You know these things intellectually, but we're humans. We're flawed, sinful, broken humans that he somehow still loves so much. And this seems to be a hurdle that we've run into a lot. This idea of my anger. I know I'm supposed to be nice to people. I know I'm supposed to be kind. But if I'm angry, that justifies not being compassionate. If I think the other person is a jerk or a bad person or monstrous or whatever, and don't worst case scenario this, okay? This is not me telling you that everybody should have, forgiven and just let go of somebody like Jeffrey Dahmer, okay? Like, do not deliberately misinterpret what I'm talking about, please. I'm going to need you all to use your thinky brains. We're talking about day-to-day interaction with our friends, our families, our acquaintances, with strangers, with new people. Generally speaking, we're taught to be polite, to be kind, to be compassionate. In a sense, it's the foundation of a lot of societal rules. But we have often all discovered this loophole, this platform of, I don't have to be compassionate, I don't have to show mercy if I'm angry. Then I want that to sink in for a minute, because it's very unlikely you've actually taken the time to think those words deliberately. But we still live by the idea, don't we? I should be nice to others, I should be kind to others, unless they've screwed me over and I'm angry, or unless they're saying something I think is really stupid and hurtful, in which case I'm no longer obligated to show mercy or be compassionate. And like I said, there's a million ways we could misinterpret this, deliberately misinterpret this. I'm not saying, to allow someone to abuse you. I'm not saying that. Do not allow someone to abuse you or exploit you, or, if that's occurring, get help. Set boundaries, get help. You need to I'm not saying let someone hurt you so that you can be merciful. But that's not really the argument here, is it? That's not really the thing we want to cling to. How do I show mercy and compassion to somebody that I think is a jerk? Why should I show mercy or compassion to someone that I think is a jerk? Why would I do this? Well, let's break this down. First of all, I think that we all understand that kindness in general is good. Like I said, you learn this in preschool, you learn this in high school. For most of you, this isn't even a debate. In general, we teach our children, be nice to other people. We as case managers, we teach our clients, be kind to others. Don't take out your anger on them. Be understanding. We teach people to be compassionate. The church says it all the time. Be loving and merciful. But as usual, and I really mean that as usual, because we are broken, flawed humans, we're okay with the idea of mercy unless it becomes hard. Then we don't want to do it. I've said it before, probably going to say it every time. This book is full of what? Hard things we don't want to do, and mercy is no different. My first thought is we should be merciful and kind and compassionate and gentle and forgiving and loving to one another because it's the right thing to do. But that's not going to work. That's not going to hold up in the midst of anger. That's not going to hold up when you don't feel any personal connection. So there's another side to it, and we're going to discuss that. I want everyone to go to, it's 2018. We cover this in another video. Have a Bible. If you don't have a Bible, go get one. They're free. We're going to look at Matthew chapter 7, and we're going to go through Matthew 7. We're going to do 1 through 5, but this first part you'll have heard. All of you. I can actually hear this first part in my dad's voice, because this first part is quoted all the time. Unfortunately, it doesn't do any good unless you also hear the second part. So listen to this. This will be the bit you know. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Actually, this says, judge not, that you be not judged. For with what judgment you judge, you in turn will also be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. And why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but do not consider the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, let me remove the speck from your eye, and look, a plank is in your own eye? Hypocrite! First remove the plank from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. I know this is a very familiar sermon for all of you, for some of you anyways, a very familiar scripture. But this is important, and we're going to break it down. These are words in red. These are very much words in red. So the one that we hear all the time is judge not, right? Don't judge others. And you hear that all the time. People say, you're not supposed to judge. The Bible tells you not to judge. This is what the Bible actually says. It says, don't judge unless you're ready to be judged. See, the thing is, we're imperfect. That may surprise you to hear. I am imperfect. I know. This is devastating news, isn't it? You are imperfect. Equally devastating, I'm sure. And we can usually take that. Most people, unless you've got some kind of gross level of narcissism, most people can look at themselves and gently say, like, yeah, no, I know I'm not perfect. Of course I'm not perfect. But here's the thing. We're very much willing to let ourselves off the hook for that, aren't we? Because we understand that we're human. What this says is judge not, because however you judge is the same way that you'll be judged. You are creating your own form, your own doorway. Whatever doorway, whatever platform, whatever mold you create that you insist others must fit into, you will be made to fit into that same mold. And you will not fit, by the way, in case you're wondering. Like, no, you absolutely won't. If you think that you will, go back to the beginning of your Bible, start over, read all the way through to completion. When you're finished, you may come back and we'll complete this conversation. But for those of you that are willing to recognize this, you will not. You won't. And it says right after it, you look at the speck. Oh, you got something in your eye there. And you have and this is, interpret this literally for the sake of humor. I mean, it's not literal, but it's literally the equivalent of having a 2x4 sticking out of your eye, and you're looking at someone and you're like, oh, there's a thing. Let me get that. You got a speck in your eye. Do you see how absurd that vision is? Do you see that we do that? We have the nerve. We do this constantly. We look at people and we say, well, look, they are short-tempered, or look, they're using abusive language, or look, they're not being very nice, they're not being very considerate. And once again, we've used our anger or our hurt feelings as an excuse to judge others and therefore withhold mercy. This doesn't work because of the plank sticking out of our own eye. How can you say that, they don't show any mercy, they don't show any compassion, they're very uncaring, they don't think about anybody else's needs, and then you yourself exclude them when thinking about anybody's needs? And if you have I'm making this intentionally ambiguous, because no matter what side of the political argument you're on, no matter what side of the religious argument, no matter what side of the argument you're on, both sides are doing this. And if you think, right, but my side's not doing it as badly, if I could reach through this phone and slug you, I would. Bullshit. Whatever side you're on, we'll call the side 1 and side 2. Anybody on side 1 that says to themselves, well, at least I don't do the things as bad as side 2 does, you're wrong. And I promise you that side 2 is also, if you're on side 2, you're looking over and going, well, I might do that, but I'm not doing it nearly as badly as side 1 is. And you both, the magic, the Disney-esque illusion of this is you both believe yourselves, don't you? You both think you're right. And this is the thing. You are not right, because you are exactly the same badness of sinner as every other person. We all are. We've all screwed up. All have fallen short. All of us. Why do I think it's important that you show mercy? Why do I think it's important that I get on here and talk about mercy? Because we need mercy so badly ourselves. If you think it's safe or smart or okay to withhold mercy for any reason, you better be Jesus, basically. Because otherwise, you're screwed. If you withhold mercy from others, and it comes around for your test, that means mercy gets withheld from you. Oh yes, and your stomach should sink. When I say that, you should feel a knot in the pit of your stomach. You should worry. You should lose your balance a little bit. All of you, because we have all done this. We have all done this. If you withhold mercy, if you withhold compassion, if you withhold kindness, if you withhold this understanding, if you judge somebody without those things, you're screwed. Because you have just taken it off the table when your test comes around. And you can't afford that. You need mercy. I need mercy. I just told you, I want to be a preacher. I do sermons on my phone every couple of weeks. I got into 2 heated political arguments and did awful, bad, wrongity things to people I genuinely love. You think I don't need mercy? Jesus. I need all of the mercy, which means I had better square with the reality that I'm going to need to be giving all of the mercy to. And if you don't like it, tough. This is the way it works. These words in red, guys, these are important. This is the reality. We've talked about this before, guys. Hard things that we're not going to like. Toes are going to get stepped on. Well, it's happening. This is hard. This is super duper hard. And it's a process. Look, I've been working on this for a long time. I can remember. This is my teacher, Karen, actually. I don't know if you watch these, but hi, Kay. I remember being young, 12, 13-ish, and having this conversation and realizing for the first time I needed to be merciful, to be forgiving and compassionate towards others, because I myself required so much mercy. Because I was so difficult and, am. We're talking about past Liz here. I'm not speaking toward present Liz, though she's also extremely difficult. At the time I was learning the lesson, I needed a lot of mercy. I needed a lot of compassion. I needed a lot of patience. I did a lot of wrong, bad things. And the lesson that other people doing different, wronger, or even badder things didn't somehow undo mine or make mine not count was a pretty serious blow. When we face the Lord, when we go into prayer, when we talk to God, and I hope you're doing this. I hope you are. I hope you're going to God in prayer. I hope you pray the prayer, God, I want to be more like you. He is our God. He's our holy creator, our Father. He loves us. He is our only chance at, escaping the drudgery and misery of the sin of this horrible, broken world, He's our leader, our captain, our general, our father, our king. Quite frankly, he's the only one we can actually trust, because I don't care how much you love another human. As noted, we are all broken people. He is not. He is actually literally perfect, and he loves us. And he wants this for us. He wants us to be better. This is one of those hard things we're gonna have to square with, guys. We must be merciful. We must show mercy, because we are going to need it. And that's the truth. If you think you're perfect, or you think the sins you commit don't matter, or you think the hurt that you've caused is irrelevant, I can't help you. You're delusional. They did worse stuff than me is never gonna fly. If I come to you and I punch you in the gut, coming back with at least, but I didn't punch you in the face, that is not gonna make it okay. It doesn't matter if other people do worse things. We are not accountable for their sins. And there it is, by the way. That's a big one. When the day comes, and it will, we're all gonna need grace. And that's a big one. I'll probably wind up doing a sermon just on that word, but grace. We're all gonna need grace. And a big part of grace is mercy. Here is what I would recommend, because I myself am in the middle of working on this. First of all, accept the crap you've done in your life. Accept that you've hurt people, sometimes unintentionally. Accept that you've acted in anger. Accept that you've acted out of bitterness. Accept that you've acted out of selfishness. It's okay. You are not perfect, and it's okay to not be perfect. Accept that these things are true. Do not try and hide under the guise that you're, but it's not that bad. It doesn't matter. This is not about everybody else. It's about you. You, the individual. We must accept that we have done wrong, crappy, shitty things ourselves. And they vary, but they exist. And I recommend asking for forgiveness for those things. I recommend going to God and saying, I'm sorry, I ought not to have done those things. Or, here's a good one, I know intellectually I should be sorry, but I'm not because I'm still angry. So help me with that one, God. Because he will hear that. He will listen. Be honest. We've talked about this before. Be honest. and ask Him to show you the truth. Not so that you can be ashamed. None of this is about shame. None of this is about writhing in the agony of your own sin. If you go down that route, you've gone the wrong direction. Turn around and come back. It's not about shame, but it is about compassion. Because how do we have compassion? With soft hearts. You see, when we look at somebody else and we recognize intellectually and spiritually that we've been there, that we've made those same choices, that we've done those same things that they're doing that have made us so angry, our hearts soften. And it's much easier then. It's much more possible to have compassion because we are much more willing to be kind to ourselves. We understand our motives. We know we're not evil. We know we're just humans and we screw up and we make mistakes. But are we willing to extend that compassion to others? Because I promise you, 99% of the people you encounter are just like you, pretty much. I mean, they're different in lots of ways, but not in the ways that count. Humans are humans are humans. We are all scared. We are all trying our best. We're all doing what we think is the best possible thing. And if you want the benefit of the doubt, you're going to have to figure out how to give it. Now, I can hear a counter-argument coming. So, are you telling me that I should just be a wimp and let people walk all over me? No, I'm not saying that. First of all, why would I say that? And second of all, why would you ask that? Because here's the other thing this requires, is faith. To be compassionate, to show mercy, requires faith. It requires the humility, the truth, the belief that God is bigger than us, that He loves us, that He knows better, that He is for us and not against us. And that, like any parent, He wants His children to love one another. He wants His children to be compassionate and kind and forgiving to one another, as He has been kind and compassionate and forgiving to us. You think your neighbor or your, cousin or your friend or your coworker doesn't deserve mercy, but you do? Does that sound right to you? Does that sound correct? Or does just hearing it make your brain go, huh? It sucks. And it's hard. And you're going to need to ask God for a lot of help. And you're going to need to remember that you need a lot of help. And you've needed a lot of compassion. And you've needed a lot of love. And you've needed a lot of forgiveness in your life. And it's going to take a lot of strength. Because that's the thing. The hard thing is showing mercy. That is not weakness. Weakness is giving into your anger. Weakness is just painting somebody with a brush that means, they don't count. They think differently than me. They look differently than me. They sound differently than me. They're not the same as me. So they don't count. They're not really a human. What I do to them won't matter. Or what I'm doing to them is their fault because they made me angry. No. Every line you write in the story of your life is your own. And that's the context it will be taken in. And that's the soil in which you will grow. I'm not telling you to be weak. I am encouraging you to be brave. Because you will have to be brave to do this. You will have to go to God. You will have to ask Him to search your heart. You'll have to ask Him to change your heart. A lot. Over and over again. This is not like a one-step thing. This is like a lifetime thing. And you're going to have to do it over and over again. And you're going to have to come back. And you're going to have to get used to apologizing. And you're going to have to get used to feeling humbled. And you're going to have to get used to going to God and going, I did it again. I'm so sorry. And yeah, a couple times you're going to taste what it feels like to have mercy withheld from you. And it's going to make you even angrier. But you don't answer for their choices. You don't answer for the speck in your brother's eye. You answer for the plank in your eye. Do this. Do this thing. It's not just in your best interest, it's in everyone's best interest. This is why I say be merciful. This is why I started off with, hey guys, it's Liz. Let me tell you about a time I wasn't merciful and instead I gave into my anger this week. And I am genuinely ashamed of doing those things because I feel like a jerk. Because I know that I was a hypocrite in doing it. I know it. I was a hypocrite. And when we do these things, we are hypocrites. And nobody wants to be a hypocrite. Not really. That is enough of a buzzword that you should all go, I don't want to be that. Oh, I hate it. I know. I know this is very hard. Hold on, I had another one. So still in Matthew, and I'll use this to wrap this up. Still in Matthew, still in chapter 7, I want you to look over to verse 12. Therefore, and you should just read all of chapter 7 is what I recommend, but we're going to pick and choose while we do this. In verse 12 it says, therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and the prophets. That would be the golden rule, folks. Do unto others as you would like to have done unto you. That does not mean do unto others as they have done unto you. That does not mean do unto others and it will make them treat you the same way. This is unequivocally, without exception, treat others the way you would want to be treated. This is what he says. This is what we ought to do. I will spend the rest of my life working on this one. But I will work on it. And I urge you, brothers and sisters, come on. We can do this. Let's work on this a little bit at a time. And nobody's got to know. That can be between you and God, Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Do not judge, because in the same manner that you judge, you will be judged. It all comes back to mercy. Show mercy. Yeah, that's probably all everybody's brain can handle today. So, for the record, our scriptures today, everything we did today was actually words in red. We were in Matthew, chapter 7, and we looked at verses 1 through 5, and then we looked at verse 12. Like I said, all of that is in Matthew 7, so you could just read Matthew in its entirety if you wanted to. So anyways, this is mercy. I encourage everybody to meditate on this one, probably privately, quietly, because not everyone wants to talk about everything they've ever done wrong or are ashamed of. And yes, there is merit in confessing your sin. We are supposed to confess our sins to one another, but, it's a process. One step at a time, guys. So the Lord bless you and keep you, and may we all carry the spirit of mercy in our hearts, and when we do not, may the Lord in his infinite kindness and love remind us that we should. Thanks, guys. I'll see everybody in the next video. The Lord bless you. Amen.